Hello, and welcome. As I understand it, you're having some issues with your arms, is that correct? Do you mind if I take a look? Excellent. So if you could just pop your hands up on the table here. Okay. Do you mind if I touch you? Alright. I'm just going to take a little peek here. Tell me a little bit about what's been afflicting you. Is it isolated to a specific area? Does it include the hands? Is it mostly, for example, in the elbows, the wrists, the meat of the arm? And do you suspect anything in particular that might have caused this? Is it an injury? Overuse? Anything in particular? Alright, so let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do, what we're looking for. So we are going to be taking a look at the arm, and this is a rather complicated set of structures, but we are going to primarily be focused on two kinds. So in the anterior arm here, we have palmar side anterior. Posterior would be the back. We have what's called flexors. And then on the other side, the posterior compartment, we have extensors. So, for example, we are flexing the fingers and then extending the fingers. Flex, extend. So, what's really neat about this? You look, for example, at the wrist here. All these muscles in here controlling the finger movement, for example. If we isolate it, so we can watch the play of muscles. We see that finger move. We see these little jumps in the muscles. This one, the first finger. The thumb, not so much. We see most of that in the thenar muscle there. But if we close the fist, we flex, we can see the muscles react. We can see the pitting right in here. And if we move the fingers, we can see how these muscles all play with each other, their relationship. So it's actually a lot more complicated than you think to be able to simply just move the hand. On the other side here, so the extensors, this is something that is more palpable as opposed to something you see. So if I extend, you can see a little bit of tightening here and there, but mostly it's something you feel right in here. Just like that. So we are also going to look at the bones here, so radius, the ulna, the carpals here, the wrist, metacarpals, and the phalanges. We have the phalangeal joints here, which will just squeeze and test. We can squeeze the metacarpals. We can tap along and test for carpal tunnel. We have the tendons as well, if you have tendinitis here or perhaps in here as well. So we'll look at all of these areas. This is where I'm going to do some palpation. That way we can feel, for example, are the joints hot at all, which might suggest overuse, for example. Is there any area where there's wasting or there's a lot of bulk in the muscle? And we're going to be doing some testing as well, some muscle testing, so I'm just going to hit the joints real quick. Let me know if any of this is painful or tender. We're going to start with the fingers, and then we'll do our metacarpals. And look at the elbows, look for any signs of tendinitis, for example. Okay, I'm going to squeeze the side of your hand. Let me know if this is painful at all. Okay. All right, and let me look at the wrist. Just going to tap along here. Do a little Tinel test or carpal tunnel here. So is this just in the lower arms or does it come up to the upper arm? You didn't quite mention. Just going to look at the elbow. And is this tender at all? Either side. Okay, this side. Alright, good. So it doesn't come up to the upper arm. And we found a few tender spots. I'm just going to press in around the muscles here. Let me know if I hit the area. Okay, I'm going to flip over your hands. We'll look at posterior side. Then we'll do some testing. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do, let's start with the fingers. So I'm going to press down. I want you to flex your fingers against mine. So I press down, you press your fingers up. Okay, let's do that for the thumb as well. Press down, you press against me. Okay, now I'm going to flip the hands over. So I'm going to have my finger on top of yours. I want you to press your fingers up against me. Do the extension here. So press up against my hands. Okay, and with the thumb here. Good, okay, good strength there. And with the wrists, if you could just give me some up and downs here. Okay, and side to side. And internal rotation, external rotation. Good. And can you make a fist? Display the hands. Good. Let's take a look at the elbows here. So, can I have you just turn your hands like this? And if you could just keep your arms at your side while you do that. Okay. Do you feel any stretching, any pulling, any soreness? Okay. Now I'm going to have you bring your elbows in and out while keeping the actual elbow at the side of your body. Can you do that? A little bit of internal rotation, external rotation. Okay, you can go ahead and stop there. So I'm going to test our nerves, our major nerves here. So let's just take a look at what that is and what that involves. In terms of our nerves, the three we are going to be mostly concerned about in the arm here, we have the median, the radial, and the ulnar. So for example, our median nerve is going to control the whole of our first three fingers and the lateral side here of the fourth finger. We have the radial, which is going to be along the back of the arm, right in this middle strip, as well as back of the hand. We also have the ulnar, which is going to be the back of the hand here, and on the front here it'll be that other side of the finger as well as the fifth finger. So we can test these with light touch as well as a little roller here. Test for the sharp sensation there. Make sure that it's all about equal. And that it is felt on all areas. So palms up, we are going to do our medial nerve. So I'm going to do some light touch and just let me know that you feel it. Right here along the fingers. Okay, other side. Good. If we flip the arms over. Now let's do our radial here. I'm going to go down the back of your arm. And can you feel this as well? Good. Does it feel the same or different on either side? The same. And does it feel the same or different as when I was stroking your first few fingers on both sides? The same. Good. So for the ulnar nerve, let's go the outsides of the fingers here. The last couple. Okay. Turn the hand over. Back of the hand. Okay. Did that feel the same or different on either side? And did it feel the same or different from the other couple times that we did a little bit of that light touch? Okay, let's grab our little roller wheel. And we'll hit those same spots again. So just let me know when you feel this. Good. Good. Okay. Excellent. And did that feel the same? Okay. Back of the arm. Good. Okay. Other side. Excellent. And let's do our last finger. Okay, each of those. Good. And here. Good. and then back of the hand. I'll just make sure we get that too. Good. Good. Other side. Good. Okay. Alright, so nerves are intact. Well, I have a good idea of what's going on, so I'm going to have you rest your arms and we'll get into the massage. So I will be using both just my dry hands, no massage medium, and I also do have a little bit of a thick cream, just if we need to do a little bit more stroking as opposed to really rubbing into an area. So let me know if any of this is painful. We'll start at the top here. And we need to warm everything up. Can't just dive right in, unfortunately. But we have to warm up the tissues so that they're a little more pliable. They're a little easier to untangle. Like adding a little bit of lubricant to the gears. And the heat also can help soothe a little bit anyway. Working all the way down to the hands. So, as we saw when we were looking at the muscles, there's a lot of interplay, if you will. So, even if there's just one area that is having issues, you can find that crop up in other places as well, just because everything's so tightly packed. It's not hard for everything to get a little wacky when one thing has an issue. So we're going to work with the whole arm. We're going to go all the way up into the sides of the elbow here, little epicondyles, and work the big muscles in here. I'll just straighten everything out. We'll do a little more targeted work. I'm going to try to release some of this. Good. Pressure okay? Okay. Good to know. Alright, let's see what we've got. So I'm going to start at the top. And we're going to get in some firm pressure. I'm going to do some circles around the sides of the elbow. Good. And even if you don't have an issue with tendinitis, oftentimes just from holding one's phone, that puts a lot of stress on this area anyway. So it feels pretty good regardless. Just warming up this area. We've got a good amount of heat in here. I assume you were also given some stretching instructions, some physical therapy exercises to address this. Yeah, good. Been keeping up with it? I know it can feel so easy to just not, especially when you only have 5 reps in a set and you do one set 4 times a day. Sometimes it can just feel somewhat negligible, but those exercises are really important, and it's much better to do small incremental bits rather than a bunch all at one time. Okay, I'm using my fingers. I try not to use my thumb in this because even though you can get good pressure with that, it absolutely kills the thumb. And then I would need physical therapy for administering physical therapy. This is right in the bigger muscles at the top of the forearm. Working our way down. I think these might benefit a little bit from some of our cream, but I want to hit the places we don't need it first. So let's get in the wrist area. Good. I'm just going to maneuver you a little bit so that I can get in this area a lot better. There we go. It's kind of the thing of when you do have even just overexertion in the muscles, you just gotta find a better way of doing things. Unfortunately, there's not a manual, right? We're not born exactly with the innate knowledge of the perfect anatomical positioning, right? I mean, it feels a lot easier to slouch. It feels a lot easier to keep your pinky underneath your phone. Destroys your ulnar nerve, but keeps it steady. Keep your phone steady. Okay, let's look at the hand here. This one might also be a little bit more cream oriented here, but we'll get in between these tendons here. On the palm. Good. So it's actually something that's been around for a long time. I mean, bad posture and back problems and all of that has been around forever. I mean, people have been complaining about back problems since the time of the ancient Egyptians, as those scribes had to sit on the ground and crane over their papyri. Shrimp posture at its finest. Okay, let's get some of our cream here. Okay, so just a little bit. Alright, let's work the arm here. Okay, this is where we can do more of. There we go. Some good sliding in there. So this is where I can use my thumb a bit because I'm using this side. We're just sliding everything. Smooth. smoothing it out. Right in here, does that feel pretty tender? Okay. You can also get some knuckles in there as well. That'll help. Just sit there a moment. Feel that in your fingers. Okay, so they get a little tingly. All right. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit of grip here. But I need that little bit of slide too. Good. There, that's a lot better. Okay. How are we feeling here? I can feel a little bit of knottage here. Okay. Yeah, just let's see. So around the carpals, around the wrist there. We've got the back of the hand. Just seeing what I can do here. Good. Okay. Good. A little bit more of the hand here. There we go. And then as that gets absorbed, we can get back into our deeper strokes for the other areas. Good. I really enjoy working with hands and arms. Don't know if you could tell by my enthusiasm when discussing the muscles and the nerves and whatnot. It's just, isn't it so fascinating that biology, anatomy, physiology, what have you, created these structures so long before we could replicate them? Like the amount of, nanotechnology that we needed to be able to create like robots, for example, that had so many complicated structures versus how long we've been around. I mean, it's a work of art, really. I think it does well to remember just how magnificent it all is. I mean, truly. So let's go ahead and get in our little areas. Use a little bit more pressure, and then we can work on the other arm. It just feels surreal sometimes that, do you ever think about that you almost don't need a thought, and you can move your fingers, your legs, your head. It just does that. And it's actually so hard for something to do something like that. Like just thinking about structurally what all happens, what all is involved. The electricity in the brain, the nerve information, all of it. Let's see the other arm here. Starting up at the elbow. I don't know, sometimes you don't need to stand in front of a mountain or a great valley or the ocean to feel very small. Sometimes you can just look at your hands and marvel at how so very sophisticated things are without any input from us. Sometimes I think we get caught up in our own achievements, the things we can do, and we forget the things that have already been done, that have nothing to do with us but are us. Didn't mean to get too deep there, but obviously there is a reason I'm very into anatomy and physiology and the whatnot. It is a gift and a wealth of incredulity. Working down the arms here. Making sure to work the back of the arm as well. Mostly using my fingers here. Anchoring with my thumbs. So were both arms about the same in terms of pain an issue, or was one worse than the other? Okay, I thought I had read that in your file. I just wanted to make sure. Coming to the carpals here. Just wanted to make sure. Excellent. So after this, I definitely would recommend some rest. You could do a little hot-cold therapy if you want it. So cold will definitely be beneficial if you had to do one over the other. So 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. And I find that that's really easy to stick to because you have two arms, and depending on what is still sore, you might have a couple spots that you can put your cold pack on. So, set a timer and just switch to the other side when it's done. Make sure to have a barrier between the pack and your skin. Of course, don't want to damage the skin. We're already trying to address any damage. And, if you want to do like some Epsom salts in a bath, or some people really like those topicals, the Icy Hot, the Bengay, Absorbine. I like Absorbine quite a bit. It reminds me, it's a Midwest thing to pile on Bug Soother and Absorbine when you're go into the Little League game or something like that for the gnats and the mosquitoes. So it always reminds me of summertime. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and flip your arm over here. Yeah, there's a few things you can do. I mean, it's frustrating because we use our arms for everything, right? Yeah, and even if we just have this act up even a little bit, it's very frustrating. There. The pressure's still good here. Want to make sure. I figure you'll let me know, but sometimes we really get in a rhythm, don't we? Yep. And good. Speaking of bug soother and absorbing, it'll be really nice to have spring come pretty shortly, huh? Meteorological spring is March 1st. Grab some of our cream here. And before you know it, it'll be all buggy again. Funnily enough, used bug soother for so long smells like lemon meringue pie, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I don't think citrus belongs in fruit, which I'm told is a capital offense, but it was started in a very small town called Columbus Junction, Iowa. And it's funny that it's so ingrained in us Iowans that that's just what we use, and it's sold everywhere. I imagine you can find it all around the country, but it's especially prevalent here. And about, what was it, 6-7 years ago, I actually did go through Columbus Junction for the first time. If I recall correctly, that's also the place where they have the swinging bridge. So you turn off the main drag, and it's a small area. You go through it, you blink and it's gone. But you go off the main drag, and there's this dense forest. And there is this simple swinging bridge right in the middle. And over a little creek cutting through the foliage. It's like you go from the road, you go about 10 feet, and all of a sudden you're enveloped in this lush valley, this lush green valley. And it's much darker in there. The canopy is pretty thick. And I have gone on the bridge before, even though I am deathly afraid of heights, and I also am probably the absolute clumsiest person that anyone has ever met. I just don't understand where my limbs are in space at any given point in time. Poor proprioception. And you go through there, and You see the water down below. You hear all the birds, the insects. It's like you're transported to a completely different place. I think there's a legend with that bridge, something like, the classic. There's a gal who was in love with someone, something happened, and so she threw herself from the bridge, kind of deal. Something that I don't believe is quite verified, but is just kind of passed around as history anyway. So if you ever happen to be around in that area, Columbus Junction, Iowa, it's a cool place to stop for a second. I've only been there a couple of times, just on the way to other places. But it's a pretty neat little spot. And all of that from some bug spray. Some lemon meringue smelling bug spray. So we're starting to get a little more grip. Lotion's gotten pretty absorbed. There we go. Let's go ahead and get our more pressure heavy spots. You have any super cool plans you want to do this year? Things warm up? Yes, that sounds nice. That sounds nice. No, I don't have to do much. I mean, really hoping to go fishing with my brothers, all 300 of them. Last year we did some picnics and some little cookouts and lots of dinners. We make fun of one of my brothers because originally we were supposed to do a big thing, but the weather turned out to be really cold and nobody was really feeling it anymore. So it was just going to be me, 2 of my brothers, my partner, and so I told this one brother to bring brats and buns and something else that I can't remember, maybe charcoal, something like that. And that was what was originally supposed to be for dinner, so it got redelegated to him. And he shows up to the function. We're at a lake, there's no stores around. And we get ready for dinner. I had brought pasta salad and brownies, and he brought hamburger buns. He didn't bring the charcoal because we had already started the grill. Yeah. So the grill was hot, it was ready to go. And he brought out hamburger buns, and I said, okay, weird, but where's the brats? And he said, what do you mean, where's the brats? I thought you were bringing those. I said, no, check your texts. He's like, oh. I'm like, so you didn't bring brats or hot dog buns, you brought hamburger buns. So they had a dinner of pasta salad and brownies. So it all worked out fine. It was just a little silly. So now we have designated him the roll and bun man. He gets to bring those to the function. So I'm hoping for some more fun things like that. Good kids. Alright, so how are we feeling? How are your arms, your hands, your elbows all doing? Okay. Are there any particular areas where you feel like you need a little bit more attention at all? Or does it feel pretty well taken care of? Yeah, absolutely. So let's just get in a little bit more on the sides, the elbows here. This is an area you could rub forever and it still would need just a little bit more. That is just fine. We're just going to do our little circles here and a little bit of pressure. Let these unwind a bit. Yeah, I hope your year has some goofy stories to tell. I hope that you have just these little fun tidbits that you look back on and giggle, things to hold on to. And probably if you're gonna have a little get together, make sure everybody knows what they're bringing. Otherwise you might get stuck with just pasta salad and brownies for dinner. I don't think nobody complained though. They were cool with it. Okay. How's that then? Feel better? Good. Okay. So, that is going to conclude our massage here. So, I would recommend that we do this semi-regularly. We could do it once to twice a week, just depending on how you want to schedule that. And bit by bit, we'll get this all sorted out. And soon your arms will be as close to pain-free as we can get them. Okay? Alright. Thank you so much for coming in today. I hope that you feel so much better. I hope you have a